this episode we sail from the toe to the heel of Italy before crossing to Croatia. We enjoy a few weeks meandering through the beautiful Croatian islands, heading north before making an overnight passage to Venice, where we stop for the winter. Fantastic sailing and a destination to die for. Venice is my favourite city in the world. We're just getting ready to leave now, and we're going to go around the corner in southern Italy before we head off for Croatia in a couple of days. We were going to go in and reprovision this morning, but in fact we looked at the wind charts and it is much better to leave now. It's going to all drop off this afternoon, so we'll probably reprovision tomorrow morning in our new anchorage. A bit of a risk because we don't know if there's a supermarket open there. We hope there will be. Here's Steve. He is just taking the bridle off.
The snubber, snubber has to come off first, and I can get everything else in. I always put the snubber on. There wasn't much wind and swell here, but very busy with boats going in, and just one of those can lift you. It does happen, and pull the anchor out. In fact, there is a boat on the shore over there on the rocks, which I would imagine exactly that's happened to. So always worth having your snubber on.
We've also done our checks. We've got enough water for the next few days. We've got enough fuel, and we are now on our way. I'm just going to have to drive the boat forward to get the anchor up.
Anchor all the way and get the sails up.
We were planning to motor sail for the first part of our trip because the wind was against us, but we were forecast a fine sail up the coast with the wind behind us for most of the day. We're heading almost directly into the wind, but in a few minutes when we go around the corner it should be ideal. It'll be on the back quarter, and then we should be able to sail until the wind drops, which is due to do at about 3 o'clock, but hopefully we'll be there by then. Except it didn't quite happen as planned.
As much as you might look at the weather forecast and see what you think's happening, quite often it just doesn't work out that way. So instead of having a nice 10 knots on the beam, which is why we waited for today, we've got 20-25 knots on the nose. So unfortunately, we can't sail really straight into that. So we're just motor sailing, and I'm getting my morning shower at the same time. That ended up taking quite a lot longer than we thought it was. The forecast was just wrong. It was on the nose all the way. We did manage to sail quite a bit of the end of it as the wind dropped a little bit, but we did have to tack all the way up here, so it took a while. So yeah, we're going to settle in for the night, do the provisioning in the morning. We're hoping to get that done today. It's quite a big town here, quite a lot of supermarkets apparently on the map, so we can do that then. We did have all the hatches closed though, so it's quite hot down below. I'll try and open up as much as I can. And one of the best ways of doing that, I've found, is leaving the dinghy actually on top. Acts as an extra scoop. I can pull the halyard and heave it up, and then just come around and open them underneath. And it all sort of acts as a big air scoop to really get the air in there. Added benefit of having the dinghy on the deck. There's one of the lovely Italian motorboats.
Wow, that was a noisy boat. But once it left the anchorage, we had a lovely evening in Otranto.
We've got to try this wine. This is the wine, if you watched the last episode, which came from which island? Well, the Sicilian
Excuse me,
island.
Selina.
Selina, that's right. And they have this dark red wine. It's what they just what they like there. It's for hundreds of years they've produced this sort of wine. Well, it's really nice. It's not what I'd choose to drink in this heat.
I saw a gentleman at one of the restaurants drinking it at lunchtime.
That's what.
And I thought
yeah,
that is good.
You're being
That's
generous.
hardcore.
I think it was about 9:30 in the morning.
Oh, really? I still thought that was good. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, it's a local thing. I think they just have little
Yeah, a little bit of it.
half glasses of it. It's quite strong. Wind was completely wrong today, wasn't it? If it's wrong tomorrow, then I will cry, because tomorrow and the day after we should have this fantastic southerly breeze that will take us up and across to Dubrovnik.
And push us over.
Yeah.
But this is nice, and tomorrow is another day.
And it's not too rocky in here.
No, it's
because
fine.
it's very open. That's the other thing about this coast. There's not a lot of shelter from the prevailing winds, but actually it's fine, isn't it? This is good. It's very freaky looking catamaran over there.
We were planning an overnight trip to Dubrovnik with some light to medium wind from behind. We know from experience the Predict Wind app tends to underestimate, so we expect that to mean about 20 knots, which would be perfect. We plan to get there just after lunch the next day.
This is going to be the first place that we actually have to check in Dubrovnik. Everywhere else we've been in a Schengen country, and we're still in the EU at the moment, just about as Brits, so we can just go through nicely. But now, Croatia, we've got to get into Dubrovnik. We've got to check in. So I quite like to get there in the afternoon, so we can get that done and not mess about. It's supposed to be 24 hours, but it's always better to do it during office hours if we can, and find somewhere nice to anchor over there for the night.
The sails started well, 5 to 6 knots, easy going. A beautiful sunset and an evening cinema on deck. Okay, it's just a laptop with some downloaded TV programmes, but outdoor cinema to us. Love those cinema seats. The night sail doesn't seem so arduous. In fact, we're quite looking forward to it. Then a few hours later, the wind drops, changes direction, comes back again. What is going on? Well, the wind's come back now, but it's on the port tack. We had originally thought we'd go on the starboard tack all the way to Dubrovnik, but about an hour ago the wind dropped completely, so we put the engine on. Now it's up again, but from the other side. So, hey, we're just going with it. We're doing about 5 knots, so yeah, what's not to like? This, actually, lightning. A thunderstorm. It's in the distance, but by first light it's becoming a bit worrying. We put the engine on.
Hopefully without running, I don't know which way it's going.
That's why. Well, that guy was going straight into it.
I know, it's going out that way,
Yeah.
it's not going that way, but I wouldn't be going out this.
Looks a good distance away, but we take the precaution of putting phones in the oven to act as a Faraday cage and switching all the instruments off. Then it starts raining.
Right, honest, just take it off charge, yeah. You can keep it up, there's already the other one. The other ones are in the oven, but yeah, keep that for navigation, but just don't plug it in.
Okay. The iPad is now our only source of navigation. Keeping it in the doghouse seems a good idea. When it looks like the rain is going to stay, we close the hatches. Just in time, as it turns out, because within minutes it starts pouring. And then comes the storm, full on. Not wind so much as rain, like someone was throwing buckets of water at us.
It is pouring, absolutely pouring. Yeah.
It made it quite difficult to see, and we know there's a narrow gap between the islands ahead of us.
It's quite narrow, but it's quite deep.
Okay.
It's still about 18 metres.
So this is where we are. We are close to Dubrovnik, and until now the worst of the storm has been inland. But now it looks like a cell is coming out fast to meet us, and we need to work out a way to avoid getting badly hit. But one thing we need to do first, and hands up, we had completely missed this. The mainsail is still up. We can get the sail down quite quickly, but the camera took a tumble. Okay, I admit this bit is a bit scary. Heading into the wind to get the sail down has taken us completely off course. We have the island ahead of us, and I couldn't see a thing. The iPad had also fallen over at this stage. Amazingly, the camera is okay and not nearly as drenched as we are by now.
Really won't go down there again. Let's hope we go for this gap in this without being able to see.
At this stage, it was clear we had to go through the gap between the island and the mainland. It was the quicker route. Going round under normal conditions would have been fine, but the storm is right in the way. I'm not looking forward to going through that gap, but now it looks like the best option. The trick is to go through the middle. At 16 metres deep and 30 metres wide, there is space enough, but either side there are rocks and shallow water. Very little margin for error.
I don't even know which way we're supposed to be going.
The gap.
It's got 17, 18 metres in it.
Okay, good.
You just need to make sure you're telling me where to go.
Yeah, fine.
So get it really close up so I can see. Jesus. Okay, take my glasses, they're completely useless to me. Please look on my face.
Yep.
Get into that white water again. This is not funny.
No.
And then I get the shock of my life. Up ahead, I see what looks like a mast coming towards me.
There's not a ship coming out. What are you doing? They're coming out.
Are they?
Yes.
The food's coming out.
Right ahead of us.
Oh no, that's not. That's the marker, darling. So you've got to go to the left of that. That's the cardinal
left
marker.
of it?
Yeah, that's the cardinal marker.
Okay.
Right, so go to port.
And that's why I need waterproof glasses.
Yeah, it's the shoal rock just the other side of that. Right, I'm going to turn the instruments back on.
Okay.
So you've got depth and stuff.
Oh wow. But nice to me. I thought that was a boat.
No, just a big cardinal marker.
Turning the instruments back on is a risk with lightning still around, but not being able to see through the rain is proving a bigger risk. And by this time the worst is over. All those people keep asking, can you sail Fair Isle on your own, single-handed? It's like, not on a day like today. I think it would be really nice coming in here if it wasn't for the rain. It's quite pretty.
Okay. And to the main port building. Thank you.
As we make our way to customs, the sun comes out. No, it doesn't. I just made that bit up. But after checking in, we had a rain-free sail through the harbour out to the anchorage. Look how enormous that is.
I'm used to them cars ahead now. That's not going to get much use at the moment, is it?
No, I don't think so. And then more rain. But at least we are anchored this time and well protected by the islands. Yeah, shiny. Welcome to Croatia, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Well, this morning is a completely different story. Beautiful sunshine, lighter wind, and right on the nose. So we are taking the luxury of tacking backwards and forwards for a while until we really have to be somewhere, in which case we might have to motor, depending on if the wind changes. But it's glorious. It's just absolutely lovely. Really, really beautiful, beautiful countryside.
This is quite exciting. We're coming into a village just outside Split. Pick up Millie. Should be on the beach just in here somewhere. She's been here with some friends. They've been celebrating out here this week, just finishing uni. Didn't have a graduation, of course, this year because of COVID, but we've got the flags at the ready. Well done. Sign that we'll hoist up as we go in. She did very well. She got a first from Cambridge, so that's very, very tough to do. So we're very proud of her. A miracle if they go up without getting snagged on something.
Yay! She should be able to see that.
Hey, Daddy. Really wet.
Are you lovely?
It's been 6 months of COVID lockdown, travel restrictions and distance between us. Time for a holiday.
Jump!
The coast of Croatia, green, imposing and ancient.
What do you reckon it is?
Fort.
Why?
Flatty windows.
Oh yeah, slatty windows. Must have been. It's pretty old then, because that's slatty windows for arrows.
Yeah. Or someone who didn't want waves coming through their windows of their house.
It's very old, actually, built in 1470 as the summer villa of the Archbishops of Zadar. It's also a fairway from where we're anchored. But one of the advantages of having a dinghy is towing. Zadar is a perfect place for anchoring. and when on shore, sundowners. The town has recently developed, becoming Croatia's capital of cool. And while tourist numbers are down because of COVID restrictions, the old town is still thriving. Oh yes, and they sell great ice cream.
Ice cream.
I guess I've been caught out. Early evening is the most popular time to be out and about, not least because of this. Listen. That's a sea organ. Built in 2005, it has a series of pipes tuned to make harmonic sounds from the waves lapping against the promenade. It sounds a bit like whale music. Round the corner is a light show, also powered by nature, so a different pattern is thrown up every night. Oh, it's solar powers, is it?
Solar powered, yeah. It just charges through the day and then releases it all at night. Same designer as made the organ.
Reminds me of discos in the 70s. This is where we are. After leaving Split, where we picked up Millie, we're hugging the coastline up to Zadar. Then we have a bit of time to explore the islands before crossing to Venice. Our plan is to cross from Pula on an overnight sail in a few days' time. But first the islands, what can I say? With a bit of wind in the sails, it's just idyllic. And a good time to fish.
So Dad, are you going to have some more success this time?
Yes, I think you would have brought me luck, hopefully. Something needs to. We haven't done very well catching.
How many fish have you caught on 3 years of living on this boat?
In 3 years living this boat, I think we've caught about 3 or 4 fish.
So a fish a year.
All yeah, fish a year.
Did I tell you when my friends came to visit, they said, oh, so do they just live on fish and the occasional groceries then? I think you'd be very thin.
Yeah, we would have starved if that was the case. But I've had information from people that know, and I've got some different methods now. So this is something James, who was the guy that we met in Mahon, said is good, although they're better if they're pink, apparently. He has one that's sort of got pink.
Like tinsel?
On. Well, no, it's like feathers. They're like little feathers.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I've stayed away from these because he's got these great big hooks. But you don't sort of tend to get the little mackerels and things here. You get sort of big tuna and things like that.
So if this goes well, we're having tuna sweet corn for lunch.
Tuna sweet corn
if
for
it
lunch.
doesn't go well, we bought tins of tuna, so we're still having tuna sweet corn for lunch.
Yeah. And we've got some sardines, so we're all right either way. But you got this that's like a little surfboard that takes it down, which I have tried before. I had these before and caught mackerel with these before. It sort of pulls it down. So we'll check that over. We'll let it load out. The other thing that I found out that you should do, because I have had ones before where we've lost the whole rig, so something big has got it and it's just taken everything. And I think
probably
what happens,
a boot.
it might be, but I think what happens is that when these we're going so slowly, it's not actually paying up. Go on, go back. What happens is that when a big fish comes and grabs it, it basically just, if it comes up against something really hard, it either rips it out of its mouth or it breaks it. So you need to have some elastic. And I had this thin piece of elastic on it, and James said no, he has a thicker bit of elastic, but it's a bungee, so I have that.
So now we've got both.
And once this is all the way out, I get to a bit where there's a loop, and I just put that around it. Let's go the right side of the guard wire. Lay that out. And actually what I tend to do is get a peg and peg that up there. And then if something gets it, it'll go and go flying, and the peg goes flying off, so we'll get a peg and we put that on there. So that's out.
Why you have no pegs left.
Yes. And the other thing I was told to do, this is actually one of our viewers that said have something out the back, because James had this thing, a special thing that you tow and it flaps around and makes splashes on the surface, and fishes, the big fishes down low, think it's little fishes on the surface. So you can get one of those, but I haven't been able to get to a fishing tackle shop. So someone said, well, just get some bits of cedar. Don't know why cedar. One of our viewers this was, and hang them out, string them out the back. Well, I don't have any bits of cedar, but I have got a ruler. No ruler. So chuck that over. And
I think that any fish that saw that would think it was a shark and stay well away.
you used to be sort of tow it along, and I mean, if we were actually moving this in waves, it sort of does sort of flit around a bit, and I've put some bits of silver tape on it, stuck to it so it glints. So we're bound to catch fish.
OK, tinned tuna it is then. There's always tomorrow. What's great about Croatia are all these little fishing villages and lovely walks around the anchorages. There's Fair Isle. Well, it's just gone 6 o'clock now, so we're out for a walk. A bit cooler, so we can have a stroll. But what's overwhelming is the smell of rosemary. It's just stunning. There's also lots of olive trees, though I'm not sure I'd want to come and pick them necessarily. They're all sort of randomly scattered around. But it is lovely. I hope when we go back the anchorage will be a little less full. It was a bit packed today. But there are still boats out there. There's still a breeze. We tend to anchor at about 5 o'clock so we can get out for a walk. And even this year with the COVID-19 restrictions, the best anchorages are quite full, often with boats owned by people who live here and have designed their own jetties. It's a pretty useful tree.
They are a feature.
Yeah, it is, look.
It's a cement-rooted tree.
But it's quite useful. Look, I mean, you can tie your boat up here, come here.
Hang your towel up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hang your towel up.
Maybe it is,
Fishing
yeah.
bucket.
They've got proper bollards for tying up.
Exactly, it's just a marker so you know where it is. I think it was once painted white, it's faded a bit, but it lets you know where to come so you can tie up.
It's not just for hanging your trunks.
Well, you can do that as well. Look, hang your Speedos on here. Perfect.
Don't need a big one like that for the Speedos. Like Speedos could go on there.
There's also signs of possible farming going on here. And goats. Yeah, look, see?
It looks like you're drinking salt water.
That is so drinking salt water. Look.
They do not drink salt water.
What's he doing then?
I think someone must come every day and give them fresh water and maybe milk them.
The boy goats.
I think maybe kill the odd one every now and again to eat them.
Oh no.
I'm afraid.
A slow sail to the next anchorage, which we know is quite narrow and deep. That means a bit of med mooring. We have a handy reel of webbing for this, and I bravely send Steve and Millie out to the shore.
We're there, we're there.
I'm going right in the middle of the tree. The aim is too good. Go around the tree.
Oh!
We've got plenty there, haven't we?
Yeah. You've got it, you've got it.
I've got it.
Oh! Pull, pull! Superhuman strength. Moving the enormous boat.
It's amazing you can pull 26 tons when it's on the water.
Don't give it away, Dad, don't give it away. Here she comes.
Reel her in.
The hidden hazard. Loads and loads of urchins. Absolutely everywhere.
Job done. Time for a play in the water.
You gotta get all the way to shore.
Oh gosh, I need to stop because I'm going to step on an urchin.
Yay.
Light winds again the next day and time to absorb the Croatian way of life. More villages on the hillside, slow sailing and lots of lighthouses.
Do you think there's a man that lives in there?
Well, there's loads of them everywhere, so there'd be a lot of men, a lot of lighthousemen, so maybe not. Maybe the guy that's got the farm down there comes along. I think the impressive thing around here is not just the amount of lighthouses, which is impressive. Is you can see the top of the hill there, just behind it, that's a 3G mast. Because we've had phone.
They've got better signal here than they do at home.
Yeah, they really have. Everywhere you go, we're miles away from anywhere, so you get proper phone signal, don't you?
There are also shipping lanes here, so with such light winds we decide to motor. And that's when we notice steam from the exhaust. As we reach the anchorage, the engine gets quite hot, so we drop the anchor quickly.
Got it?
I've got most of it out. There's some little crustaceans that are right inside. You can poke them out and bits fall out, but I don't know if that's enough to stop it. I might have to have a look at the impeller as well. We'll see. I've got more go. And we might start them up and see what happens.
Little critters camping out in our seawater intake. Starting the engine still showed a lack of water flow, so the next day Steve braved the heat of the engine room to assess the damage.
Okay, do we know what's wrong yet?
Just about to find out. Actually, that's the cover. I mean, we've run out of options in that as soon as we found the steam coming out and the overheating, it's obvious because of the steam that there's not the flow going through, so it's boiling some of the seawater. So that's either down to the strainer, and there was some stuff in the strainer, and that probably leads to, if you've got the bad flow, what happens is these impellers. You have an impeller that is your water pump. It's a sort of a brittle bit of plastic, which I'm just about a bit of rubber, which I'm about to pull out. And the good thing about if it's fallen apart is it's easy to pull out, and it has indeed fallen apart. That is all that's left of it. So all the veins, these are bits that stick out, all the veins here come off. Once it overheats, they just fall apart. So if you ever have a slight overheating or forget to open the seacock or something like that for a few minutes, really, you know they're going to be toast, and take them apart. So we can just put a new one in, but I will have the pleasure at some stage of taking the intercooler off and trying to find all the bits, because they're all going to be in there. I can feature some with my fingers just on the inside here, but some of them would have got into the cooler, and I'm going to have to try and find them all. Really, yesterday, as soon as we saw that steam, I should have just put the sails up and sailed slowly and tried to take it all apart. But it's so hot in here. It's hot now, and it's been cooling down all night. But yeah, it wasn't that appealing. So yeah, it's fine. We'll get it now. We'll put a new one in, and we can get going.
In the end, there were just 3 small pieces missing, to be found another day. Millie looks worried, and that's because the sea is getting a little choppy. Time for some tactical sailing.
Trying to go so we're riding
Obviously that means we're going in the wrong direction.
And it has variable success as a tactic.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of sail out as we turn, that should steady us. All out. Just so.
Yep. We weren't the only ones battling the elements, which included my favourite, another shallow gap to get through. 6.5. Luckily, it didn't last long and we were back sailing. We are headed to Pula Harbour, one of the best natural harbours in Croatia, where we're planning a rare overnight stop in a marina. The marina itself has a diverse history. To the west, a massive shipyard originally built for the Austro-Hungarian Navy, it's since been home to Italian, German, Yugoslav and now Croatian ships. But that's nothing compared to the history to the east. A Roman amphitheatre with a 360-degree wall still standing, a rare ancient monument. After dinner, we decide to take a look. This amazing limestone structure was built over 2,000 years ago, and tonight it's hosting films from the Pula Film Festival in a spectacular display of old and new technology. Sadly for us, you need tickets to get inside. The next night, as we left Croatia for Venice, it appeared the light show continued. In fact, these coloured dinosaurs are cranes from the shipyard. Once out, we had a good night crossing. A gentle rocking putting one crew member to sleep. Then breakfast and sunrise.
I lay there for ages thinking I'm never going to sleep, and then next thing I woke up.
Just before we arrive in Italy, Millie does the honours changing flags.
That's a good thing about the Italian flag, can't be upside down, can it?
Yeah. There?
All the way to the top.
Then begins a trip I have always wanted to make, sailing into Venice. Our destination and our winter marina is on the island of Certosa. The journey takes about half an hour through a myriad of waterways and little islands. Beautiful. Isn't it lovely? We moored on the visitors' dock, ready for our ride to the airport for coronavirus testing. We were all negative, so moved onto our permanent position in the marina, which is where Fair Isle is now. I left early in the morning for a brief trip back to the UK. Like everything else around here, the journey to the airport is again by boat.
Okay.
The 5 regions that make up the main islands of Venice are the obvious main attraction. Certosa is conveniently positioned so that we can easily access Venice and the outlying islands, which are all different. None more so than Lido, a long beach resort with the biggest collection of beach huts I've ever seen. It's weird. It's a whole estate of beach huts, not just a line.
I think a lot of the Italians are here to sell things because they've got bikinis pegged up.
Oh, I think they're shops as well.
Yeah.
The Italians are always stylish, and the men have a flair for beachwear that the Northern Europeans might shy away from. If you're a man, you wear your Speedos because you're Italian. You can. It's a nice big beach though. Solido has beaches and a different feel to the main islands, with their myriad of canals. But other islands like Certosa itself is different again. A 50-acre park adjoins the marina, and there's plenty of other islands around. We go for an explore in the dinghy. So they've got this little jetty around the back of the marina. I think they do some kayak tour things from here.
Kayaking, rowing, pizza vans.
Yeah, it's
Brilliant. This is the absolute part of the marina.
yeah, people sort of come to picnic out here. It's actually really quite nice. And there's some interesting discoveries to be made on the adjacent islands. It's a beautiful old church. It's just incredible that, you know, overgrown and left here in the middle of Venice. You've got that.
I am a bit worried
About what?
that we're on Ministry of Defence land.
We might be, but there's not anyone in it. I mean, look at that beautiful old building, completely empty. It's amazing. I mean, you see it all over Venice, don't you? These sort of unused,
Gorgeous
buildings, yeah. And you think, well, the real estate here must be incredibly expensive. Why don't they just leave them? This seems to be the island that Venice forgot. And at the head of the island, a fort. Fort Sant'Andrea was built at the start of the 16th century. It's magnificent. Its important strategic position defended Venice for centuries. Its low gun positions designed to hit close to the waterline, but in all the years it only fired on one ship, a French frigate that surrendered. After our excursions, we had to try the local pizzas. We're joined by Millie's boyfriend, James. Traditionally made pizzas in a wood-fired bread oven. So is this the key to a good pizza then, a good oven? What's
Also, not only.
Not only. I don't think he's giving away the secrets.
Huh?
It smells so good. James.
The perfect end to a perfect day. Our mooring at Certosa Marina is idyllic. A lovely place to watch the world go by. And best of all, Judy's back. It's another lovely day today. It was supposed to rain this morning, but it's been great, isn't it?
Absolutely. We woke up, beautiful, calm, quiet, listening to the egrets. I went on a run, and now, 15 minutes away, we're going to be in Mark Square.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
yeah, it's great. We walk through the little along the walkway and through the parkland here, and we go and catch a vaporetto.
Or we could have a picnic in the park, or a coffee in the restaurant. One of the first things you see when you come to Certosa is this. A fantastic restaurant. Part of it is floating and part of it's on the land, but it's quite posh, isn't it? You get some quite good meals here and some quite interesting people.
Yeah, a lot of people come and spend some time here, don't they? Come in just for that. So you come in on the little speedboats and come onto this pontoon and just go in there for lunch or dinner, which is great. And the other thing, I mean, good for us, is we're just heading straight up here to where the Vaporetto is, and Vaporettos are quite expensive here if you're just doing them one at a time. It's about, what, $7.50? Is it $7.50?
Yeah, I think $7.50
for a single.
Yeah.
But we have a card, and it costs €100 this card, but lasts for 6 years, and it means that basically it's €1.50 per trip, so it makes it much more affordable. So this is the machine. Flip it in there and let the Vaporetto know that we're going that way.
Yeah, it looks like mine needs a top up, so we'll go to Lido, I think, and do that. And also you can get tickets for museums, so you can get like a block ticket to go and see all the museums, so we'll do that as well.
You can see it looks pretty much like an underground in most major cities. We're here, Certosa, and we can just come around. St Mark's Square is here. You can go all the way around the island and out to Murano and Burano. They're sort of the further islands as well. So yeah, it's very good. Has he caught one?
No, but he looks pretty professional. I think you could take some lessons from him.
I need a big rod like that.
It's got one in the net. Can you see? It's down there. We're getting quite good at navigating the bus stops now, but I still find myself just taking in the view. Did I mention how much I love Venice? Like most cities, there is a more sinister side. This is the ancient Bridge of Sighs, so named because it's the last walk between the court and the cells, and the last view prisoners had of freedom. I think I'd wish that I wasn't going to prison. If I looked out the window there, I get it. I would sigh, really. The cells are remarkably well preserved. The carvings from prisoners date back to the 14th century.
Why their doors were so small?
I don't know. There's like a classroom in here. The other side of the bridge is Doge's Palace, the seat of power in Venice from the 14th to the end of the 19th centuries. The Gothic style is breathtaking. Every room has exquisite, detailed paintings and architecture. Too much to take in just one visit. We'll have to come again.